CBS Saturday Morning. We begin this half hour with how a key campaign promise of Donald Trump is being felt along the southern border. The president-elect is vowing to carry out what he calls the largest deportation effort in American history. The tougher border policies gain traction among many voters, but his election is also causing fear and uncertainty among desperate migrants trying to enter legally. Immigration reporter Camilo Montoya Galvez talked to those on both sides of the U.S.-Mexico border for a look at this crossroads for U.S. immigration policy.
You sleep here. Okay. Wow. Ivan Castro Santos, his wife, and their 4 children have been living in this crowded room over the past 4 months. The young family traveled from southern Mexico to this shelter in the northern Mexican border city of Nogales, joining other migrants from across Latin America.
Venezuela, de Ecuador. Acaban de pasar de Peru.
Peru too.
Ajá.
Half of them are children. All of them have one goal: finding work and safety in the U.S. You wanted your kids to be safe. That's the reason you left. Tens of thousands of migrants are estimated to be here in Mexico, waiting for a chance to enter the U.S., including the children behind me. But now many of their parents are growing increasingly desperate and concerned that President-elect Trump will make it much harder for them to enter the U.S.
Those borders.
Trump ran on mass deportation and harsher asylum policies, a platform that appealed to many U.S. border residents like Ana Parada.
That was the main thing, is immigration. I really saw the Biden administration being a little bit too lax on immigration. And having Trump back in office, I believe it's going to be a difference again.
On the Mexican side of the border, the reaction to Trump winning was dramatically different.
Asustada.
You were scared?
Sí, me sentí asustada porque él prometió en sus discursos que iban a deportar a todos los inmigrantes.
Because he promised to deport all the migrants.
Y que iba a cortar la CBP-1, que es la aplicación y el
and that he would close down the application system that you are trying to use to enter the country legally. A doctor by trade, Luz Angela says she and her son fled political persecution in Bolivia. If allowed into the U.S., she says she would like to help others.
Now is the moment for Israel to return to its founding premise. The Jewish state has an absolute right to exist. A divine gift, gifted to a divine nation, charged with a divine purpose. Israel has applying the only language that its adversaries understand, the language of force. So what would David Ben-Gurion say today? He would say, don't depend on anybody else's fleeting sympathies or permission to do it. If Israel and Mossad want to pull off Munich 2.0 and take out every last leader of Hamas, wherever they may be hiding from Doha to Dresden, host a red wedding at the Four Seasons in Qatar, the next time Haniyeh and Mashal show up, they should go ahead and do it. If Israel wants to, at long last, abandon the myth of a two-state solution, Israel should go ahead and abandon a two-state solution. The rest of the Arab world can absorb Palestinians just as the Jews absorbed their people out of 22 countries they were kicked out of since 1948. The Islamic world cannot continue to condone the slaughtering of Jews while continuing to disown the Palestinians. That is the hard truth that neither member of either political party is willing to speak out loud to the Arab world. I will.
So here we have the Indian bootleg, Vivek Ramaswamy, pandering to the Zion Nazis. This is the problem with when immigrants come to the United States, right? Particularly these Indians. But that's a whole nother conversation. They generally turn into straight Nazis when they get here. So, but anyway, that's a whole nother conversation. And they run apartheid in India. I don't know how most black people, how that in America, how that escapes them. The same way they run apartheid in Israel, but that somehow escapes most Negroes in the United States as well. I don't understand why. So But anyway, um, what these people are espousing, and he's basically espousing the Trump party line, right? And the Trump foreign policy for what's getting ready to happen in the Middle East, right? They're gonna go after Iran. They're gonna go after the Palestinians. They're gonna go after the Lebanese. Anybody who doesn't get in line, they're gonna go after them. And they're gonna pour gasoline on a fire that we all been watching for the past, couple of years. And they're not gonna be able to contain it. Like, this man is a demagogue, obviously, and obviously Vivek Ramaswamy is insane. It has no idea what he's talking about. But you know what? A fool that persists in his folly shall become wise. See, when everything that he just said is allowed to take place, you're gonna see the world start to burn. When they continue and expand the bombing of Lebanon and the West Bank and the Gaza Strip, and they draw in more of the Yemenis, they draw in Iran, what the fuck do he think gonna happen? What do you think is gonna happen? And this is basically what he's saying he wants to happen. And this is basically the foreign policy plan that's getting ready to unfold as of January 1. So they're gonna pour gasoline on the fire in the Middle East. As you can see, he works for Trump, and this is basically where they're going with this. Now, prior to that, they talked about the Trump deportation plan. I'm gonna say something about that real quick. Now, what's gonna happen with that? He's gonna cut off all funding on day one. All funding, he already said it, on day one. All hotels, all travel funding, all food stamps, everything gets cut off on day one. So, here's another question, right? What do you think gonna happen when all that funding gets cut off? And you got tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, of illegal immigrants running around in this side of the United States without no free housing, no food stamps, money, etc. Fill in the blanks. Whatever they've been getting, it all gets cut off on January 1st. What do you think happens, 2 weeks after that? What do you think the streets look like when these people start coming out of the woodwork, where they've been stashing them in Chicago and New York and Texas, right? Because they're gonna get hungry. They're not gonna have nowhere to go. You can't go in these hotels anymore because you can't stay there for free. So it's gonna create a financial havoc. Not to mention, I'm thinking possibly it's gonna be, riots. Once, I'm curious, like, what's gonna happen? Where do these tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people go within a week or two of them cutting off funding? Where are they gonna appear? At your front door? I don't know. I'm just curious. You never know, right? I'm just kind of, gaming this out, like trying to figure out how this unfolds. When they pour gasoline on the fire in the Middle East and draw in, this dude's an idiot. Doesn't he know that when they pour gasoline and accelerate that thing and start dragging those people out, bombing them more, bombing Lebanon more, and dragging those people out of there in the Middle East, that they're gonna draw in more of the Iraqis, more of the Yemenis, more of the Syrians. It's almost, he tried to quote the Bible. He has no idea what's in the Bible. He said that the Israelis are God's chosen people. This man has never read Revelations 2:9 or 3:9. He is a Nazi, Indian, racist, demagogue, lapdog. And it's going to get him and his family, well, and his people, they're gonna, well, like I said, a fool that persists in his folly shall become wise. We're on YouTube, so I'm gonna keep it PG, right? But when they get their way, and the Republicans run everything now, so they're gonna get their way in the Middle East, but it's not gonna work out the way that people would think. It's gonna be a nightmare. You're talking World War III. Let's just be honest. You're talking World War III. You see, knocking at the door. Not to mention, I'm gonna say it. I mean, maybe I'm being hyperbolic, but I think when these people pour out on the streets after they cut off all the money, if he has the heart to do it, I don't know if Trump's gonna do it, because he talks a lot of shit, but sometimes he seems like he don't really back it up. You see what I'm saying? So I don't know if he's really gonna do it. But anyway, when they cut their ass off cold turkey, and you get tens of thousands of people pouring out in the streets, I think you're gonna have riots. I think you're gonna have all kinds of riots. All hell gonna break loose. Now, I don't know. I could be being hyperbolic, but I guess time will tell. We only got about a month and a half before this happens. So I think the fairy tale euphoria of Make America Great Again will be over immediately, probably around January the 14th. Right? Once he takes office, I think, when did he take office, on the 7th or something? I don't know. But once he takes office, he's going to sign an executive order to immediately cut off all funding that day. So I said, give it 2 weeks, let's see what happens. I'm curious where all these people are going to go at, right? And then on top of that, right around the same time, they're going to pour gasoline and give the green light to the Israelis to go, to wild out and go fucking crazy in the Middle East. Now, like I said, maybe I'm being hyperbolic. I just don't see this shit working out well. But I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. But we'll see. That's all I got.